Who's ready for another tier list? I sure as hell am not. Because I don't like tier lists. I don't like them. But you guys have kind of forced me to do this. And the thing is, like, I'm not going to do this all the time because to keep up with all the units that keep dropping, like, I can't do that. No. We're not doing this every time. It's not happening. Maybe, like, once every other month or something like that, we'll do a tier list, like an updated one. Maybe if you guys receive this well, like if you guys like the tier list, you want me to do more, maybe once a month, but you're pushing it, guys. Let's get started with the break tier list and give my reasons why certain units are in certain spots. So S rank, as you can see here, we got version 2 Solicina, we got OS Asano, and we have Light Maiden Alice. Now, I don't really have much to say on Solicina because I don't have her, but OS Asano and Light Maiden Alice, I certainly do. The reason why I put OS Asano in the S tier is because she's fast, one of the fastest units in the game, and her utility makes her extremely useful in many teams. Being able to lower defense on her Assault and Incarnate, and her Enhance is extremely useful as it has short wait time and lasts for 3 turns. Which it's so good. She's so good, because especially when you use that, because then a lot of times, especially if you use in the beginning, then she gets an extra turn. Like it bumps her up on the turn order because like her speed stat combined with the short wait time on that ability. As far as Light Alice goes, let me pull her up here. Where are you? Where's my wording for Light Alice? Okay, Light Alice. She's fast, which makes her a great break unit, and the raw damage she does is fantastic. And that's even without her weapon, because I tried it with both her weapon and without her weapon, because I have a weapon now. And even without her weapon, she does fantastic damage. Her Incarnate puts continuous damage for 3 turns, where most do it for 2. And on top of that, her Incarnate will double hit 1 unit. So if you watch my live streams, when she does her Incarnate, she is doing anywhere between 80 to 90k on 1 unit when she does her Incarnate, which is fantastic. It's an AoE Incarnate, but it'll do double damage on 1 unit. And then the downside to her is her debuff. While her debuff is good for specific fights, meaning for dark fights only, because it'll lower their magic resistance and physical resistance for 2 turns on a dark enemy, that does put her down. But because of her speed stat and her raw damage output with the continuous damage and being a break user, a fast break user, it makes her more useful in many situations as opposed to some other characters. That continuous damage for 3 turns on her Incarnate really does make it easier for units to take advantage of, because in boss fights, bosses a lot of times get 2 turns. So if you have continuous light damage for 2 turns, well, then the continuous light damage is gone. But having it for 3 turns, you're good to go, because then your units can take advantage of that moving forward. Now going into the A rank here, Camela. Camela does a lot of damage. She's great for fights. Okay, for quick fights though. So if you're doing like ordinal battle, she's fantastic because her break is an AoE attack and she does a lot of damage. She can make your ordinal battles a lot easier. On top of that, when you're fighting boss fights, her Assault does a monstrous amount of damage, and her having a high speed stat coupled with her high attack stat, coupled with her being a break character, she is fantastic. Now, if coupled with continuous light damage dealers, she does more break. She charges more on her Assault skill. So she can take full advantage of that. Plus, her Incarnate does inflict continuous damage, but only for 2 turns, unlike Alice, who does it for 1 turn. The drawback with her is the fact that her MP cost is extremely high on her abilities, and she has a really low MP stat, meaning that like her MP amount, the amount of MP that she has, is really low compared to a lot of other units, making her just shy away from an S rank. If she had more MP, then I could see bumping her up, but because of her lack of MP, it hurts her that much. Now, I don't have the rest of these characters as far as Shaita, I always mispronounce her name. Renly and Integrity Knight Yujio. I don't have those. I don't have Dakira either. Dakira, though, Dakira's a curious case because Dakira is fantastic for ordinal battle, considering how she inflicts provoke, and she has tank stats to take advantage of the fact that she has provoke, and it's an AoE provoke. She is fantastic for that. Also, she does hit relatively hard. I don't have her, so I can't take full advantage of using her, but I can see her being a high-ranking A, or in certain circumstances maybe an S rank, but this isn't a tier list for certain circumstances. Overall usefulness. Elo Kirito. Elo Kirito is there. I've seen him in other rankings that he's like a B tier, whatever. To me, he's an A tier. And the reason why, let me pull him up, Elo Kirito, because he's a heavy hitter, even without buff from continuous damage. Okay, having a buff from continuous damage, it's a bonus, right? So like the enemy has continuous damage on them, he's gonna hit harder, he's gonna break for more, he's gonna take full advantage of that. But he doesn't need that to do good damage. He hits really hard on both his incarnate and his assault skill. Okay, his second assault skill is an AoE magic attack, which is kind of feels weird to have that in there because he's mostly a physical user. But because it is an AoE magic attack, it's actually really good for clearing out trash mobs in fights like Cathedral or fights like Ordinal Battle, because then you can inflict continuous damage with his second assault skill, which then he can use to take advantage of with his regular assault skill. So he has uses, and even if he doesn't use the AoE magic attacks that much, he still does a really good amount of damage, plus coupled with a decent speed stat helps him quite a bit. Stacey Asano version 1. I like her, but I don't like her. And the thing is with her, the things that I don't like about her outweigh the things that I like about her. She does decent magic damage with her assault skill, and she does decent magic damage with her incarnate. Her incarnate is an AoE ability, but when using it on a single target in a boss fight, doesn't really do much. And then her kit is really weird. Like, her break ability is a physical ability. If you have a magic user and you put a physical attack on them, it doesn't balance out well. Like, it's like, why even bother when there's better break units to be had? Case in point, there's 2 other light characters on here who are much better, much more efficient with their stats as well as their abilities. Case in point, Camela and Light Alice, making Stacey Austin just falling really short. Plus the fact that her assault and her heal is swapped with the bonus that it does, meaning that on her assault it raises up magic resistance for your team, and her heal raises up magic attack. If it was swapped, it would be much better, and she would be so much more useful, and I would put her up higher on this ranking list just for that. But because it's backwards, it falls short because you don't use her heal. That's not where you're going to bring Stacey Austin. Stacey Austin's heal sucks. Okay, it's a weak heal, and that's it. Like, it honestly, it doesn't heal for much. It heals for like 2k. That's it. And I have her max limit broken. She's not a good healer at all. Plus the fact that she's slow. Okay, she's not like monstrously slow, but she is on the slower side. Because even max limit broken, you have a lot of other characters who are faster than her or have the same speed. Okay, Stacey Austin version 2, for example, is faster. Sinon, the Solus Sinon version 1, I think version 2 as well, is faster. Tortellini is faster than Stacey Austin, and these are maxed out. Okay, so it's not that like I don't like her. She is a fun character to use, but having a high magic stat but you give her a physical break attack doesn't make sense. And again, like I mentioned, having the heal and the assault bonus stat like swapped, it's weird. It's weird. I don't approve of it. She needs an overhaul to make her better if they're willing to do that. Next up, GGO Sinon. Now here, GGO Sinon, the reason why she's so low on the list is, the biggest reason is because she is the only 4-star gun user. Until we get another 4-star gun user with another 4-star, or another 4-star gun, she can't be put higher on the list. Because if you pull her now without a way to actually get her weapon, because you can't exchange for her weapon, if you pull her now, she's useless unless you have her gun. Okay, that is like the biggest drawback with her. And it's not like other characters. We'll say, for example, like Eilo Kirito, if I don't have his weapon, that's okay, because there's so many other swords out there that I can throw onto him and he's still useful. For example, I can put on Tortellini's sword, I could put on Yujio's sword, hell, I could put on Alice's sword, and it works because it's usable. But because Sinon is the only gun character, there are no other options for guns to use on her, which drags her down immensely. Don't get me wrong, she's a heavy hitter, one of the, in my opinion, one of the hardest hitting units in the game, but because she is the only gun user and there are no other options to use besides a 3-star gun for her, I have to put her as a beer tier list character. Okay, a beer tier. She's a beer tier, guys. She's a B tier character. Okay, I'm sorry, I know some of you guys are like, what, why did you do that? That's why. Okay, that's why. Next on the list is Tortellini. I love using Tortellini so very much. Still one of my favorite characters to use on a water team. And I find it really hard to replace her on a water team. She hits ridiculously hard. But where she falls short is her heal is useless. Because let's be honest, you're going to bring a better healer. She has a single target strong heal. Useless. She doesn't really do a lot of bonus stuff except on her break, which lowers magic resistance by 20%. And she's okay for speed. She is. And she's tanky, which is nice too. But because she doesn't really do much else, she's on the beer tier. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to call this the beer tier. It's a beer tier. She's on the beer tier list until something happens to maybe make her a little bit better. Like, again, she's one of my favorite characters to use. I have her maxed out. She's fantastic. She hits ridiculously hard. But I recently found out Alo Asano hits harder. Alo Asano hits harder than Tortellini does. It's very weird. But she has a really high attack stat. Her speed is decent, sitting at 322 maxed. And again, she's relatively tanky. She's got nice tank stats and she's got nice HP stat. And she never runs out of MP at all. Like, her MP is scale of 1 to 10, like a 9 as far as how much MP she's got. So you could just like go all out with her abilities, considering her abilities don't cost a lot either, which is really nice. Going to the next character, the Valentine Tise. I actually just pulled her. Her break is really nice because it's an AoE break. It lowers attack by 10% for 1 turn, which is fantastic. She does heal. And she casts continuous healing for 2 turns. Doesn't matter what element they are. There's no restrictions on that, which is awesome. Okay, that is really good. The only reason why she's not higher on the list is because she's one of those characters, again, that is weird. She's a magic character, but then her incarnate is physical. Why? Why are you doing that? It doesn't make any sense. Incarnate thrust attack on a single enemy. Why? Her break skill is a magic attack strong on all enemies, and her assault is a magic attack extra strong on a single enemy. Why are you gonna... She's a weird character. Her magic stat is really high, so it hurts her a lot that her incarnate is a physical incarnate. A lot. I'm not even joking. Man, that one really bothers me. It really does. The last 2 that we have this version 2 of Edis. And version 2 of Edis, okay, let's be real. The thing that hurts her? Her speed. Hurts her a lot. A lot. What's nice is that she has Provoke. Okay, so her assault skill, her second assault skill has Provoke for 1 turn. Magic attack strong on all enemies. Provoke for 1 turn. And she has evasion. But here's the problem. The evasion is for 1 turn also. So you have provoke and you have evasion. Evasion is on her regular assault skill, which is a magic attack extra strong. So all her attacks are magic attacks, which is really nice. Magic attack extra strong on a single enemy, raises evasion by 50% for 1 turn. Her second assault skill, AoE magic attack, provoke for 1 turn. If it was opposite, if it maybe had, not opposite, I'm sorry, if it was maybe provoke for 2 turns and evasion for 1 turn, that would be cool. Or if it was evasion for 1 turn, or for 2 turns and provoke for 1 turn, that would be cool too. That would work, because then you can play with it. You can't do that with her. Like, it just doesn't, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Her break skill is a magic attack strong on a single enemy, lowers magic resistance by 20% for 1 turn, and incarnate breaks by 50%. So that's pretty nice too. Her incarnate is a magic attack on all enemies. That's it. You know, she has stuff that's going for her, but then she just falls off. Like, she really falls off. It's so weird. And then the fact that she has provoke, but her stats, like, she's kind of squishy. It's not like Dakira, where Dakira has tank stats. Edis doesn't have tank stats. She's squishy. Like, you could, even if you put higher gear on her. So, like, for example, I have a piece of dark gear that's Kirito's dark gear. I have it limit broken twice. Even putting that on her, she's still squishy. At level 80, sitting at 8,500 HP. And the defensive stats are really low, 2,500 and 2,600. It's not enough to actually take advantage of that provoke. Which, on a boss fight, if you do it at the wrong time, or whatever, like, she's dead. She's dead. Now let's talk about Wind Alice. I actually get this question a lot as far as, like, what do I think about Wind Alice? Well, here's your answer. I don't think highly of her. C-rank character, in my opinion. She's got fantastic tank stats. Fantastic, but she's got no provoke. That's the biggest drawback with her. She's got really high HP. Like, she can peak well over 10k on HP. Her defensive stats are fantastic. Again, peaking over 3,500 on her defensive. Her magic defense goes up to like 2,800. It might go a little bit higher depending on what gear you put on her. But that's pretty much it. She's slow. Her attack stats are really low. And her abilities are, like, there's better characters to use as opposed to her. Unless you don't have anybody to replace her with. Her incarnate attack, single slash attack on a single enemy. That's it. Her break skill lowers magic attack by 10% for 1 turn, which is nice. It's a strong attack. Strong physical attack on a single enemy, which is okay. Because her attack stats are so low, that damage modifier just doesn't work well for her, honestly. Like, if it was extra strong, it'd be better. She needs that. She's one of those characters that needs that because she lacks the damage stat. Her assault skill, slash attack, extra strong on a single enemy, lowers physical resistance by 20% for 1 turn. Again, that's nice. It helps. Her enhanced skill, it's a protection skill. Raises physical resistance of all allies by 20% for 3 turns. I mean, I found uses for it, but she's not useful enough to use in multiple situations. Hence why she's as low as she is on the tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's like really like heart-wrenching to do this for me, honestly, because I don't find pleasure in it, because the thing is, like, there's so many different things that can change. Because there, say for example, like Light Alice, all right, so Light Alice over there, if you put on Earth Alice's weapon, the second Earth Alice, not the original one, if you put the second Earth Alice's weapon on her, she does so much damage because of that weapon. That weapon raises magic attack on an assault skill by 9%, which is fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic, especially if you don't have Alice's weapon. Oh man, it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't know how to explain that. There's situations where some of these characters can be more useful than others, regardless of tier list. The best thing I can do is just put an overall usefulness in an overall team, like if you're just like mixing them all up type of deal, you know? So I hope you guys find it useful. Hit the like button, subscribe if you guys are new. Let me know what you think of the tier list. Do you agree? Do you not agree with some of them? What would your tier list be? And if you want to see more of this, you got to give me feedback. You gotta start hitting that like button. You know what? I'm gonna give you guys a like goal. Let's say if we hit 150 likes. If I see 150 likes on this video, okay, I will do more at least once every 2 months. If we get higher than that, if we get like a huge influx of people interested in these tier lists, then maybe I'll get together with Naish and we'll do like once a month tier lists. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Follow me on social medias. Follow me on Twitch. And I will see you guys later. Thank you guys so much. Stay cool, guys.